お前の道はここで終わりだ。見せてやろう、その先の力というものを。ブリーチ、ブレイクソウルズ。
Alright, what is going on, you guys? This is your boy the Death Smasher, and welcome back to yet another video. And today, I figure I may as well do something new for my channel, which is something that has already been done, but today, we are going over the top 10 best speed units that we have in the game. The new year has just started, and I figure it's time to pretty much make a whole tier list dedicated to the speed attribute to determine which are the top 10 best characters that we have in the game. So with that being said, let's just go ahead and begin. Now, first up on the honorable mentions, I have to give it to the Spirits Are Forever With You version of Sajin and Swimsuit Retsu. Now, Sajin, he's a bit lower on the list, but he is a really hard-hitting normal attacking character. With the fact that he has Flurry +2, has no affiliation, and Human Killer, he can be pretty useful in a lot of guild quests and even PVE content. But the thing to take note of is the fact that he is a Brave Battle character because he has Flurry +3 for the first 10 seconds, can prevent last ditch survival, and also can pretty much ignore Brave Battle invincibility. He's purely made for PvP, but outside of PvP, he's a great character because he does have Guard Break and has pretty much the same similar kit as the Spirit Society White Ichigo. So yeah, this is basically a better White Ichigo, which is actually pretty good if you guys asked me, but mainly more so meant for autoing content and not for manual playing. So pretty much a very good character. Up next on the honorable mentions is Swimsuit Retsu. Now, in my opinion, this character is actually still pretty good to use even to this day. And the thing that is really notable about her is the fact that she is a Link Slot Potion character and has by far one of the stronger soul bombs that we have in the game because she has weakening and also has weakened defense on the soul bomb with devastation of 40%. If you apply yet another weakened defense via the bonus abilities, you can actually go out of your way to nuke ranged Soul Reaper, GQ, and potentially get sub 1. Some guildmates of mine have actually managed to get through it, even though it was tough, but it was definitely very doable once you got this character to 5-5. Very good kit as well. She has a 40% shade beam on the SA2, and then the third is 1170 in front. Very damn good. It's just that for most content, she has pretty much been power prepped, which is why she's as an honorable mention and not at, you know, the number 10 spot. But other than that, let's just go ahead and start off with the real top 10 list that we have for speed. So let's get into it. Starting it off at number 10 is 5th Anniversary Byakuya, and oh boy, how much he's fallen as an actual character to the point that we have so many characters that just completely outdo him, definitely. However, he is still a really good character because he has Frenzy +1, Havoc at 20%, with a very high Berserker of 40%, double killers of Soul Reaper and Hollow, and also has Sharpshooter, meaning that he can penetrate through range guard and range resistance. The main issue with this character to take into consideration is he only has one really good strong attack, and that is his SA2 being the 960 into Homing Vortex. And then the rest is basically a bunch of, you know, vortex attacks and range collision attacks, sadly, because he doesn't even have status elements. So in IT, when you don't have killer with this character, he is just going to suck even at 5-5 max Insanity T20, which is very unfortunate. Where his place is pretty much going to stay is pretty much extreme co-op, a bit of epic raids, and some single-player content, because sadly, he's just not putting out the same number as he once used to for nuking and GQ. He's not really that optimal because he just lacks the weakening, and yeah, sadly, the character in and of itself, he has pretty much fallen off. He's no longer the best speed unit that we have in the game, and all the other 9 characters that we have on top are just going to be able to do the job a lot better than him, which is sad to say the least. So yeah, RIP Byakuya. Let's just hope that if we can get a remake of him in the future like we did with Anniversary Ulquiorra and Anniversary Ichigo, that would be insane. But now let's just go ahead and move on to number 9.
さようなら
Number 9 on the list, I have to give it to this past Aizen because of the simple matter of fact that he is a really strong character. However, his main big issue lies in with the fact that he doesn't have any good PVE killer to use this on. He has Squad 0, which is pretty much irrelevant. The only place you're really going to use this is in some common quests, and those floors where we have Squad 0 enemies sometimes will even have drain resistance, so sadly he's not going to be able to make full use of his abilities there. And the biggest factors of all is the fact that he lacks Havoc, so he's going to be missing out on a lot of range. He doesn't have an increased status element chance against all power mobs, and most notably he only has drain on all of his attacks, which is very unfortunate because this character was pretty much made to be used in Inheritance Trials, seeing that this guy has 40% Berserker, full stamina damage boost at 20%, Frenzy +1, also has Guard Break plus hit hidden enemies, and the very famous status element Spiritual Pressure boost of 80%. Every time you inflict a status element, you'll be able to increase your total SP by a good 80% and being able to kill off the mobs within an instant, which is really good, and also does come with a very good set of innate abilities of having even more strong attack damage, immune to poison, and also having Sprinter. So the character skills are really good, it's just that the kit isn't all that much. He has a Suction Vortex on the SA1, a Beam on the SA2, and the third is Full Screen. Imagine he had Havoc. I think I'd probably put him somewhere among the top 5 best speed characters in the game for sure. But sadly, it is what it is. He does outdo the 5th anniversary Byakuya for most harder content. However, he could have been a lot better as a unit to play as.
使いたくはなかったが仕方ねえ見えるか全てを焼き尽くすこの光が
Now at number 8, I have to give it to Spirit Society Ichigo. Now, I used to trash on this character a lot, believe me when I say this. And I'm probably gonna get some hate for this, but you guys are free to disagree, agree. But realistically speaking, Ichigo was more meant to be used in Inheritance Trials compared to the likes of 5th anniversary Byakuya, despite having a really terrible kit. Because yeah, this guy has a terrible kit, but at least he has higher multipliers for it, if you guys know what I mean, because he only has Holo Killer, sadly enough. However, he has Frenzy +2, which is already going to be better than Byakuya. Havoc at 20%, increased status element chance against Power Holos, so easily he's going to be replacing Byakuya for that. And also has 20% more damage upon inflicting a status element, and also has Sharpshooter, so you can use him for extreme co-op in terms of, you know, being able to penetrate through range resistance. And the biggest factor is the fact that he has double status elements, Weaken and Burn. So let's say we get an Inheritance Trials in which enemies are immune to one of those status elements, Ichigo's gonna be completely fine. He's gonna get through it just fine. But again, the kit is pretty dog water because he has the 18% shave just like Byakuya. His second strong attack is gonna be the Vortex into pushback kind of attack. Pretty decent for getting status elements in for sure, but could have been better. And then the SA3 is just a standard full screen third strong attack. So yeah, this guy's basically a better 5th anniversary Byakuya, nothing more, and also lacks the double killer, and he really needed a better kit. If this guy had a better kit, I definitely put him among the top 5 best speed characters that we have in the game. Up next at number 7, I have to give it to Kagerosa because this guy is a really strong normal attacking character that you can actually potentially use for autoing. Now granted, he doesn't have status elements, so that is the only flaw I can pretty much give to this character. But he is just exceptional because this guy has the same matching as Lilabato, meaning that it's going to be a melee collision type of beam attack, and it's just going to be able to hit multiple mobs at once instead of one at a time, and also comes in with some really high multipliers. He has Flurry, a bruiser of 80% calculated with the 6-star skills, and the Soul Trait even speed attribute character normal attack damage of 20%, so he's giving himself and all of your other speed and ad characters an additional 20% normal attack damage, and also has Last Ditch Survival, meaning that he's going to be able to survive, poise, and also has a bit of range damage here and there, and Sprinter. But the main notable thing is that this guy can be used in Guild Quests because he does dish out a lot of damage, seeing as he has a 50% kill effect in Guild Quests and 30% range damage in Guild Quests. And in terms of the innate abilities, he also has Guard Break, which is perfect. It just means that he is going to be able to nullify range guard and just be able to kill with his normal attacks just fine. The only biggest issue is the fact that he doesn't have status elements. Oh, and did you guys know that this guy is actually a pretty good arena character? Yeah, because this guy actually picks up Long Stride and also Flurry +2 in Arena. So as if this guy wasn't already good enough in PvE, you can use him for Arena as well and be able to get the job done. So yeah, definitely a really, really strong Nat character. I definitely say he's worthy of the number 7 spots for sure. Now up next at number 6, I have to give it to Akon. Now this guy, you're going to be using him in Inheritance Trials and in harder content a lot more efficiently because this guy has some quirks that the other characters do not have. And that is the fact that he is a super Link Stop Potion character and a power Link Stop Potion character. Now sadly the PvE killer isn't really all that great. He's got Quincy killer, and so far we've only got one Inheritance Trial in when Quincy mobs were a thing, but that's pretty much all irrelevant because of the simple matter of fact that he has increased status ailment chance against power attribute enemies, so he is going to be able to inflict all the status ailments on his attacks as long as the enemies aren't immune to either burn or laceration, which, yeah, this character, believe it or not, has double status ailments, but like it's spread across different attacks, which in my opinion it's a bit of a weird combination. You have burn on the SA1 and the special and the NAD, and then you have laceration on the second Tron attack and the third Tron attack. So in a way, if either one of those status elements gets screwed over, you can still use this character, inflict the status elements, and be able to kill the mobs, just that if it's burned, then you're pretty much going to be screwed over for that special mate, sadly. That being said, he's still pretty strong because he has a Berserker of 40%, right? Speed attribute character strong attack damage of 20%, and also has an extra 40% damage for speed soul reapers upon inflicting a status ailment, which is actually really strong. And on top of that, increased status ailment chance. Very, very strong character, very, very strong super pot character, and a very, very strong power character. And the innate abilities, guess what? He also has guard break, sprinter +1, and also has freeze immunity. So other than that, phenomenal character. His kit is actually pretty decent. He also has like the 750 in front. His second straw attack isn't the best, unfortunately, because they did give him Sun's SA3, but as an SA2. So it is going to be decent for getting status elements in, but not really all that good for killing off the mobs. And then the third is full screen. So yeah, very, very strong character. And speaking of very, very strong characters, I still have to give it to Jushiro. Now, this character, he came out like, bro, what was it? Almost 2 years back? Yeah, literally, it's almost been 2 years since this guy came out, and he's still number 2 of the best Nat characters that we have in the game because of the simple fact of the matter that he has Holo Killer. He has a really good Nat string of being able to hit multiple times. It's the same Nat string of that of Kirio's, and since he has Drain and you're going to want to inflict Drain with all of your attacks, it's actually pretty good, considering he doesn't have increased status ailment chance. But other than that, he has Flurry +1 with guard break, a bruiser of 40% plus the speed attribute character normal attack damage of 20% plus the normal attack damage of 20%. This guy is basically going to be hitting very, 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 very hard despite not having the attack buff of 80%. He can also give himself out barriers, and on top of that, it's going to be 5 barriers thanks to the multi-barrier skill. He can penetrate range guard and be able to auto even the most hardest of content just fine, even Inheritance Trials, as long as the enemies don't have Captain Killer and as long as the Inheritance Trials do not have Drain immunity, which unfortunately Jushiro has taken a very hard nerf for when it comes to Inheritance Trials, because Caleb just don't want you to auto with this character and just be able to clear a bit more efficiently back then when we didn't have ×5 Inheritance Trials and whatnot. But yeah, his Nat string is good. The strong attacks really don't matter all that much because they are mainly going to be used for protection, and that's it. And he's got everything that a Nat character needs besides, you know, lacking another status element, and besides having increased status element chance, because look at 1000-Year Blower Aizen as to why he's freaking broken. But yeah, this character is worthy of the number 5 spot. He's definitely aged really well, and it's great to still see him above the top 5 best speed characters that we have in the game. Now, number 4, I have to give it to Azushiro. Now, normally, I don't really use this character too much, and I do think that this character has fallen off. However, there's just a lot of perks that this guy has that is still worth talking about and why people still use him to this day. So let's just go and get right into it. So this guy's skills are very, very good. He has Frenzy +1, he's got Guard Break. However, he cannot penetrate through range resistance, which is very unfortunate seeing how he has double killers of Hollow and Rancor. He's got Havoc, Status Element Spiritual Pressure boost of 80%, and he's got Drain on his entire kit, with the special being able to inflict Burn and Drain. Now, the biggest issue here is the fact that he does not have Burn throughout all of his attacks, and like I mentioned before, he is gonna be nerfed just like Jushiro. Rain is heavily nerfed in Inheritance Trials to the point that you won't be able to always get your status elements to proc in, sadly. However, because some Inheritance Trials are bugged, sometimes you can get the 80% SP buff. However, you're just not gonna be able to completely kill off the mobs, which is very unfortunate. And the innate abilities, he does have all status immunity, which is still pretty nice, and he has a 50% chance of being able to dodge Hollow and Rancor damage, so this guy is pretty much going to be meant for surviving in the toughest of content that we have in the game. He also has Bombardment. Sadly, he doesn't have Weakening, so his Saw Bomb is not going to be as good as, per se, Arpo Kichigo or Bruno, because you're not going to be sub-1ing with this character, unfortunately. And counterattack, basically the way of how this skill works, you basically have an enemy attack you. Once the dodge skills work, you're going to be inflicting some damage. That is such a wasted skill because it could have been increased status element chance, since this guy's kit, believe it or not, is Dog Water. He has a 30% shave on his SA1, which is really not that good. SA2 is going to be the Vortex into pushback attack, and then the third is full screen. If he had a better SA1, I think this character will pretty much last a lot longer, but he's number 4 for a reason, so we're just going to keep him there. Up next is gonna be Noelle, the Christmas version of Noelle, and this character is... she came out literally a year ago, and she's still really good, which is crazy. That being said, in my opinion, for Inheritance Trials, she's not as good as Akon for every single one of them. However, the value that this character provides, in my opinion, is worth placing at number 3 over Akon, just because of the amount of stuff that this character has. So, for starters, she's got the 80% SP boost, just like Azushiro, and matter of fact, this character is going to be even better than Azushiro, because she plays exactly like him, but her first strong attack is going to be the 18% shave attack, meaning that it's got a really good chance of being able to inflict status ailments. Yes, it is a way worse SA1 regardless, but let's be honest here. Any type of first strong attack is better than Azushiro's first strong attack, sadly. And she has Frenzy +1 with a Berserker of 40%. She, too, just like Akon, has the Super Pot skill and the Link Saw Potion skill. She has increased status element chance against power attribute hollows and no affiliation enemies. Sadly, it's not against all mobs. Now, we do have a good amount of Inheritance Trials where hollows and no affiliation enemies are present, but most notably, this character has Bombardment and also has hollow and no affiliation killer. And again, Weakening. She has status element spiritual pressure boost of 80%, meaning that this character is going to be a powerhouse, and once you get her at 5/5, you're going to be able to sub-1 both the melee and ranged hollow GQs, as well as both the melee and ranged no affiliation GQs. So that's how much value that this character has, besides the likes of Inheritance Trials, where you're mainly supposed to use the character for farming super pots, which is really insane. And to top that all off, she's also a great party character because of the fact that she can provide a free revive to her entire team upon using the Soul Bomb. And the innate skills, guess what? She also has Guard Break, Havoc at 20%, and Sprint +1. So the skills, they're fantastic. There's no complaints about that, just that the increased status element chance could have been against every single power mob, and I think it would have been okay for what she was designed for. Kit could have been better, sadly, it's really not the best. Speed has pretty much always had, for whatever reason, really strong characters with strong skills, but they just decided to always cuck the kit for whatever reason. But thankfully, that has changed with the arrival of a certain character, which I am going to talk about, who is at the number 2 spot. So let's just go ahead and get right into it. 7th anniversary Uryu. This character is still by far one of the strongest speed units that we have in the game. Is a premium character on top of that, and this guy, what he has is nothing to scoff at, because He too has double killers just like Noel. He, on the other hand, has a Rancor and no affiliation killer. Already exceptionally amazing. And on top of that, double status omens. He's got weakening and drain. Exactly what you guys would want to see in a unit that is future-proof for most hard content in the game. Has Frenzy +2, Berserker of 20%, Speed Attribute Character Strong Attack Damage of 20%, has Guard Break plus hits hidden enemies, and on top of that, increased status element chance against power attribute enemies. So it's not relegated to just his killer, he is going to be doing that to every single power mob. And on top of that, also has Havoc. So this guy already has a really strong set of skills. The only drawback that I have to give to this character is the fact that he doesn't have Marauder. Now, he's already able to penetrate through melee guard, however, he cannot penetrate through melee resistance, which, in my opinion, okay, for Extreme Co-op, you can get away with that. Just give him a nerd headband, and you guys can go through Extreme Co-op and just solo it 100% of the time. I made a video talking if Uryu can solo it, and surprisingly enough, he was actually able to do so just fine. He is that much of a phenomenal character, but you can't do that for GQ. That's a given fact. And the innate abilities, he also comes with Long Stride, increasing the mobility of this character, so he's going to be zooming across the battlefield, killing enemy mobs just like a Soifun, even though he's going to be slower than Soifun. Has Sprint +2, and on top of that, has Team Party recover 20% stamina. This character is broken. This character is legit broken. And on top of that, he has a good kit. He has a beam on the SA1, which is that of Aizen. He has a lunge on the SA2, which becomes full screen. And then the third strong attack is full screen. I just wish this guy had Marauder. That is the only drawback, because if he had that, I personally would have tied him with who we have at number 1. Which, by the way, at number 1, I have to give it to Ulquiorra. The 3rd anniversary remake of Ulquiorra. Now, what this guy has is really damn insane. Now, he is not as strong as Uryu in terms of the strong attack damage, but the value that this character provides just puts him on his own place. He's got double killers. Now, granted, a Spada killer isn't really the greatest, but let's just talk about the skills real quick. He's got Frenzy +1, Havoc at 20%, and Berserker of 40%. He's got the status element spiritual pressure boost of 80%, so once he gets burn or weaken procced off, he is going to be able to outdamage Uryu within those 10 seconds of him activating the skill. He also has complete status immunity, something that Uryu does not have. Debilitator, devastation of 40%, bombardment +1, so he's going to be hitting a lot harder on his soul bomb compared to Uryu. He also has a Rancor Resonance strong attack damage of 10%. Keep in mind, the way of how this skill works is the more Rancors that you have on your team, the higher the Berserker value goes up to. In co-op, he will get it up to 40%. In epic grades, 60%. And to top it off, he's going to be able to do 40% more damage to weakened and burned enemies. And the innate abilities, guess what? He's got Long Stride, so he's going to be able to zoom across the battlefield just like Uryu. He has Sprint +2, and also as Sharpshooter. This character has what Uryu has, being able to nullify ranged resistance and being able to nullify range guard simultaneously, marking his spot for one of the best speed characters in the game. And on top of that, the kit that he has is phenomenal. He has a beam on the SA1 just like Uryu. On the second strong attack, he has the 750 AoE in front plus homing vortex, so that's why he doesn't have the increased status element chance. You have the second strong attack that can, pop in a homing vortex, get the status elements to proc in, and making Ulquiorra very strong. And on top of that, his third strong attack is full screen. So on top of being one of the stronger speed characters that we have in the game, he also has by far the second strongest soul bomb to almost be able to rival that of 1000-Year Blood War Yamamoto. This is truly a remake well done and is fitting of taking the number 1 spot among all the speed characters that we have in the game easily. And if I were to give negatives to this character, I'd say none. I'd say really none. The only thing that I kind of wish that this guy would have is pretty much increased status element chance, but I think that's a bit too much since he does have the homing vortex just like Yamamoto, and he is still able to pretty much clear out the hardest of content that we have in the game. So realistically speaking, no negatives. This character is perfect in every way, shape, or form, for my liking. Anyways, that ends the top 10 list of speed characters that we have in the game. Now, do you guys agree or disagree? Let me know in the comment section below. Would love to know your honest opinions and your personal perspective on it. So yeah, this is basically made by me because I've been playing this game for like a good amount of time to know how the units play out. There are some of the characters that I do not have on the list, like Akon, but with the knowledge that I have of the game, I feel like I was able to pretty much find a really good given spot for the character and make a good list out of the units that we have here for speed. So yeah, let me know if you guys agree or disagree, and I'll get back to you guys on that. Anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. If you guys have actually enjoyed it, don't forget to smash that like button, share this video with your friends and family, subscribe to the channel if you guys haven't already, and hit the bell notification so that way you guys are up to date with my most recent videos. Let's get to 8K subs, and if this video receives well enough, I will continue to do top 10 best characters that we have in the game for each attribute. The next one, which I'm going to be doing, is going to be technique, depending if we get a good amount of views. So let's get that video to 1K, and I call it a day. This has been your boy, the Death Smasher, and I'll see you guys all in the next one. Take care, lads. Peace out.